Hello everybody and welcome to OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. I'm Jack and today I'm here with another Worlds deck analysis video. This is one that I think will be, this will be one of the last times we look at this deck, as it is indeed rotating. We're looking at Greninja today, a personal favourite of mine. I think a bit of a deck that a lot of people are glad to see go. But going into Worlds, it does seem like it could be a strong meta call. There's a lot of Zoroark around and Greninja loves facing Zoroark. So, in general, I think it's probably one of the best times to be playing Greninja if you want to take that risk for Worlds. And as it's the last time we'll get to a profile, at least in the standard format, I wanted to take on, just looking at the list one last time. A lot of Greninja lists are pretty similar, so you can find a pretty standard list anywhere. I've gone a little bit wild with this list. You may have heard about the bursting balloon list that Joe and I played in the Valencia League Cup, so that's kind of what this is based off of. But jumping straight into it, of course, we've got the 4-4-4-3 Greninja line. Pretty much the only out there thing is 4 70 HP Froakie. There's a lot of debate on whether to play the 70 HP one or the bubble one. I think with all the Buzzwole that are around, it can be slightly better to play the 70 HP one, though a lot of the time if they can hit 60 they can probably hit 70 anyway, so you may prefer the bubble one. I've gone for the 4 70 HP in this build, but it's pretty interchangeable. There's no set right or wrong answer, I don't think. That's the main thing here. Some people are playing a split of the Frogadier. Some people prefer to play one or two of the Frogadier from Forbidden Light, which lets you drop 2 counters when you evolve a Froakie. That can be good in combination with Splash Energy because you water dupes it out, attach a Splash Energy, and when it dies you then get an extra snipe at some point during the game. However, again, I'm pretty sure it's fine to just play the 4 Frogadier. There's not too many situations where the 2 counters are helpful, and it's a little bit convoluted. You have to think a little bit more about where you put your Splash Energy and such. But either way, again, I could see, I think a maximum of 1. I wouldn't want to play more than 1, just because you want to make sure you have Frogadiers. Though, that being said, if you have multiple Frogadiers prized, whether they're this one or the other one, you're probably not in for a good time anyway, so it could be fine just to play 1. Again, my spice is the bursting balloon, so that's why I've kept things relatively standard. Of course, I've got 4 Greninja. This is the deck's main attacker. 138 HP is obviously really strong against Zoroark variants, as Zoroark cannot hit 130 without some kind of multiplier, and only Devoured Field or Reverse Valley really are ones that affect us. So as long as we have some way to bounce those stadiums, we should be able to have tanky Greninjas, and we obviously have the breaks as well. Shadow Stitching is of course what this card is known for. 40 damage for a colourless energy, and it's one-sided ability lock on your opponent's field, which is really strong. That's essentially the whole premise of the deck, trying to lock your opponent's abilities whilst having strong, high HP, 1 prize attackers that can also do snipe damage. With the Greninja Break, once during a turn, if this is your active Pokemon, you may discard one of the water energy from your hand, and in doing so you can place 6 counters on the board. So that's how the deck sort of ramps up in damage. A combination of Shadow Stitching plus snipes everywhere is really strong. Obviously we also have Moonlight Slash as well for certain turns where ability lock may not be as important, and I think a lot of people sometimes forget about this attack. There are times where you can break the stitching lock, and it is sometimes correct too. So, you know, there's a lot of versatility within this card alone. Free Retreat as well is fantastic. Grass Weakness is obviously always a bit awkward, but I think Pod is actually one of the weaker variants going into Worlds. I think it's still a very good variant. It's probably one of the top 5 Zoro variants, maybe even top 4, top 3. But I think there are going to be Zoro Garb, Zoro Controls, Zoro Rocks. All of these I think are more likely to see play at the World Championships than Zoro Pod. So Grass Weakness isn't too influential. Ray can run some funky tech attackers, but in general you should have a good time against Ray anyway, because you're a non-EX attacker, and that's one of Ray's biggest difficulties, is dealing with 6 non-EX attackers, especially when we can start ramping up a lot of damage in the late game against them as well. And Bulu is nowhere to be seen right now, so Grass Weakness isn't major. It just depends on how many people play Pod, but I don't think Pod is going to be the most popular variant going into the most popular Zoroark variant, at least, going into Worlds. We have the 1/1 Staryu, Starmie line, of course, as well. We've got the free retreat Staryu just as another good starter, so we basically have no bad starters in the deck. And then we've got Space Beacon, lets you discard a card from your hand once during your turn, and then put 2 energy from your discard pile back into your hand. This guarantees we can Shuriken every turn, maybe even double Shuriken sometimes, and that's going to be where we ramp our damage up and start being able to compete with some of these other stronger, sort of faster decks than our own. Tech-wise Pokemon, you could also include Lele, of course. Lele is flipped in and out of lists. I've gone for no Lele and 1 extra supporter. You could go for a Lele. I'm playing 1 extra tool, technically, with the bursting balloons. Choice bands are usually at a 2 count, so you could find a slot there, and if you find a slot there, you could indeed slot in a Lele if you want to play the 11 supporter count plus a Lele. But I've gone for no Lele and just completely non-EX attackers. Lele can also be a lost condition a lot of the time, as you want to have your opponent take 6 prizes. So because of that, I think it's really important to sometimes just have a full non-EX board. But Lele is definitely a worthwhile inclusion, I think. Tapu Fini isn't as good anymore. Things like Buzzwole do get set up pretty quickly, and then with things like Beast Ring and Max Elixir, they can often get their energy back in. There's no big like Gardevoirs to throw back in right now. Ray could be a nice thing to throw in, but the thing with Ray is, again, it's a 2-prize attacker, and your main win condition against Ray is the fact that you are a 1-prize deck. So you don't really want to be throwing in a Ray, because a lot of the time they may be able to ramp back out. Obviously Ray can use its ability to get energy on to the board pretty quickly, so you sometimes will actually do nothing throwing a Ray back in, and you'll leave a 2-prize Pokemon in the active. So, you know, it's kind of to and fro. I don't think Fini is at all good right now, but I do think Lele, it deserves a mention, and probably is a pretty good inclusion if you want to go down a different route to the list you see today. Onto the trainers, we've got 1 counter catcher. This is kind of a floating card. I really enjoyed the card. I think it's a card that catches a lot of people off guard. Maybe not so anymore. It's seen a little bit more now, but it can catch people off guard, and it's so strong to have a Gust Effect in this deck. You can't really afford a Guzma just because you need to have draw supporters. Guzma could you have so much free retreat. You also don't really need the switching effect of Guzma. So I think in general a counter catcher is probably better to be able to try and combine with an N. That's a really strong play in the late game, trying to end your opponent down plus counter catcher one of their either stall targets, so you can stall them plus snipe something on the bench, or just take a big knockout, maybe something they're setting up to try and finish the game off. Being able to counter catcher plus N is just really strong. 2E Hammer, there is special energy everywhere right now. I would love to play 3, a potential cut for the 3rd could be the counter catcher. Could be, again, dropping the bursting balloons, playing 2 choice band, and playing a 3rd E-Hammer. I could definitely see that. 3 E-Hammer is really strong right now. But again, the spice for me is bursting balloon. Though I think a triple E-Hammer list is definitely really strong. Like I say, there's so much Zoroark about now. This is always going to get value. There's really not that many decks out there that aren't playing special energy right now, so you're going to get value from it in almost all of your games. So I'm pretty sure it's a worthwhile inclusion at a 3rd copy as well. Though, again, I keep pointing out that this is where my space is going. I wanted to test something a little bit different, or just showcase something a little bit different that wasn't the standard Greninja list, which is 2 choice band and, you know, more different cards to bursting balloon. There's no one talking about this card right now, so I wanted to have some fun with Greninja, as it's the last time we'll probably profile it on the channel. So yeah, a lot of the cards that I'm suggesting, it all comes down to the fact that I'm playing 3 bursting balloon, which is taking up at least 1 more slot than regular tools would. Some people are even dropping the choice band count down to 1. So this could potentially be taking up 2 slots, but you do, because of the effect of bursting balloon, you do need to play a 3 count. So yeah, any of the suggestions I'm making, if you want to start cutting some cards, this slot right here is where you want to be looking, I think. 3 Evosoda, that's really important for being able to just guarantee that turn 2 Frogadier, and then in the late game, or in the mid to late game, more Greninjas, more Greninja breaks. We are combining that with 4 Ultra Ball as well. So we've got 7 search cards, plus 11 draw supporters. There should be a lot of outs for us to be able to find a turn 2 water dupes. You could, again, I could see this as a 4 count if you just want to go hyper consistent. just to try and maximise getting into the game, because that's all Greninja needs to do. It needs to get into the game. Once it gets into the game, it can really start having fun. 2 Field Blower. I think Garb could be a very popular pick at Worlds. Ray Garb, Zoro Garb, Buzz Garb even. And all of these, sort of, all of the main important parts of this deck are ability based. Giant Water Shuriken and Space Beacon are both so integral for the deck. So you want to have access to be able to ditch Garb's tools. You only need to do it once or twice. Obviously a 3 count again would be much nicer, you're much more likely to see it, but if you can Field Blower the Garb plus kill it in the same turn, which is often what you have to look to do, either with Counter Catcher or Water Shurikening it down, you don't need your Field Blower for the rest of the game, or at least you won't for a little while, so you can start digging to find your next one. It gets a bit awkward when your opponent sets up 2 Garbodors or Trebushes, so you know they can cycle the ability lock turn after turn. Then you really have to try and find your Field Blowers super early. But in general, I think you can get away with 2. If you're really scared, 3 is definitely a fine count. You're always going to find value in this card as well. Things like, well, the stadiums obviously are a really big part, but things like Floatstones, sorry, and Fighting Fury Belts that are seeing niche play here and there. Well, Floatstones is everything, but Fighting Fury Belt isn't seeing niche play here and there. It's really important to be able to get those off just to try and up trade as efficiently as possible, because that's pretty much what this deck wants to do. It just wants to be up trading against EX and GX Pokemon. 2 Max Potion. This is really strong for things like Buzzwole. Once you get into your Greninjas, your Greninja breaks, they can actually really struggle with one-shotting because they don't have things like Diancie. Because of your ability lock, they can actually sometimes struggle to hit these numbers, and if they do, because you're a 1-prize attacker, you can completely wipe their damage off the board and carry on going, which is really nice. Obviously it's a cute mirror card as well if you're worried about mirrors, but you've got balloons around as well. Similarly with Zoroarks are doing 120 a lot of the time, and if they're doing 120, that's not 130. You're getting maximum value out of your Max Potion, so I think 2 Max Potion is pretty strong right now. Recovery Rise, we've gone 1 Stretcher and 1 Super Rod. I think you need to dedicate at least 2 slots to recovery, maybe even 3. I've gone 2, again, the bursting balloons take up an extra slot. But yeah, I think 2 is fine. 2 is what we played in Valencia, and it never felt like an issue. It's good to have a split, because sometimes you won't have access to Starmie, so you need the energy back, but sometimes you need the immediate access to one of your one of your discarded Pokemon. So it's super important to have the split, I think. Though if I was running a 3rd, I would run a 2nd Super Rod, I think, just because energy is so important for the deck. Starmie is often targeted down, and if that's the case, you want to be able to have other ways of finding energy if you can't access your Starmie again. Plus its accesses, you can reuse Starmie via Super Rods anyway, so you know, I think I'd go with a 2nd Super Rod just because of how important energy is, but I do like the immediacy of Stretcher. 4 Ultra Ball, as I mentioned, similarly to the Evosoda, you want to get into the game, and it's super important to do so. And because of that, we want to maximise the Ultra Ball count, of course. You can have some awkward discards, obviously, with this deck. But again, it's the kind of deck that if you get into the game, you're going to struggle to get out of it if you can have that optimal board set up. It's such a strong deck. 1 HP, 1 energy attacking 1 prize Pokemon that ability lock and have snipe damage is just so strong to deal with. So you just want to make sure you get into the game. Similarly, that's why I'm running 3 Brooklet Hill as well. I can see people upping this to 4 as well, but there is so much Buzzrock around, I think you can probably get away with 3. Plus, in general, we have so many search cards anyway. I think a slot is better dedicated to another supporter rather than another Brooklet Hill. Onto the support account, we are running 4 Cynthia, 4 N, and 3 Sycamore. In general, I think draw support or shuffle draw support is better for this deck just because there's so many important pieces in the mid game. In the early game, all you want to see are Froakies, Frogadiers, and Energy, so you really don't want to be discarding pretty much any of these other cards just to find them. You sometimes have to, it's sometimes important to, just to guarantee yourself that turn 2 water dupes. But if you can get away with Cynthia-ing or N-ing, I think is a lot of the time better because you're going to have more resources later on in the game, which is just always going to be beneficial to you. I wouldn't ever drop lower than a 11 support account. I think you need that inherent amount of draw supporters, especially without Lele, to always have one pretty much turn 1 or turn 2 when you're going to be needing one just to find one of your combo pieces. So yeah, I'd never drop lower than 11, which we've got right now. I probably would say 12 is pretty optimal as well, but I think you can get away with 11, and I think Sycamore is the cut if you're cutting down to 11. N is so strong in the late game for this deck, when in the mid game as well, because you go behind on prizes so quickly. It's super important to be able to have some kind of mechanic to try and pull you back into the game. Cynthia is such a strong card in general, and then Sycamore, you need that hyper draw sometimes just to again get into the game. And finally, of course, we are running 3 bursting balloons. I have been chatting about this card pretty much the whole way through. It's really, really important to note that Choice Band is definitely a viable option. But the thing with Choice Band is Choice Band doesn't work on baby Buzzwoles, and this does and is incredibly effective. They want to be sledgehammering you, they want to try and get maximum value, and when you throw on a bursting balloon, they really have to think whether it's worth getting that 120 damage or that big swing on you when they're going to be taking 60 themselves. It can really, really balance the maths out. Considering they're a 130 HP basic Pokemon, this puts them down to a 70 HP basic Pokemon, which is a much more manageable amount. And then once they start playing their EXs and GXs down, that's where we can start ramping up our own damage, because we have similar HP to them anyway. So, you know, it's really, really weird. I love the bursting balloons. I'm not saying they're 100% correct. I wanted to profile a list with bursting balloon before the card rotated. But I think it's really, really strong for Buzzwole right now. It's also strong for things like Zoro as well, but obviously they have field blowers. But when they're not trading, it can be more difficult for them to find their field blowers. In general, though, Buzzwole is playing low to 0 1 or 0 field blowers, which is why this card is so strong against the Buzz right now. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. I'm not saying it's 100% correct. I'm not saying you should play it for Worlds. There are definitely arguments for Choice Band, but there was no way we could let this card rotate and this card rotate and not profile them in the same list one more time, especially as me and Joe both played it very recently. So, you know, we had to take a look at it. Finally, onto the energy count, we've got 4 Splash and 6 Water. This can kind of be moved around. 3 Splash, 7 Water is what I've seen played as well. I really like the 4 Splash. I really like being able to cycle your Pokemon back. I think 6 Water is enough. That being said, it is pretty much the backbone of the deck, being able to Giant Water Shuriken. So you could argue that a 7th is more important, just to be able to guarantee that you can actually have your snipes when you want them. So yeah, I think I've mentioned a lot of the tech cards already. Choice Band, the Lele. I don't think there's too much. It actually didn't gain any new cards from the new set, which is kind of, I think, why we've left it a little bit. We wanted to look at some other archetypes and some Magcargo things, some Stakataka things, some Ray things. So you'll probably see this a little bit later down the line. This probably won't be uploaded immediately after recording, because we want to look at some of the new stuff. But I did want to at least get a profile out just of a fan favourite of mine, even if it's not a fan favourite of everyone else's. I actually don't think I've saved this deck yet, so let's jump onto the ladder. Greninja, we'll give it a little Totodile coin. And we will star it and head onto the ladder. Oh, Ninetales on the ladder. I've been playing a lot of Zoro lately with friends, so I haven't actually been on the ladder so far, so we'll have to see what we can do. Looks like we've got fairies and lightnings. This could definitely be Xerneas Electrode, which Azul popularised on his stream a little while ago. Xerneas was always a bit of a weird matchup for this deck, because you're both non-EX attackers. The fact that they're running Electrode may mean we have a little bit of an advantage, though it doesn't mean they're going to be ramping into energy pretty quickly. Fortunately we're mulliganing, but we are going first at least. Start Staryu, and we have an Ultra Ball to grab ourselves a Froakie as well, which is important. See, this is where maybe a Lele would be good, but okay, we've got a Koko. So maybe this is spread instead. We have a really strong hand. Froakie is the 70 HP Froakie is often a little bit nicer though against spread, though it's not too important. I'm going to retreat. And I'm going to pass it over. This hand is perfect. We get the turn 2 Starmie, we get the turn 2 Water Dupes, and we have a Cynthia for the next turn as well. I should have definitely deck checked for my Frogadiers as well. Whoops. Plays down the Shrine. So this is spread by the looks of it. Magical Swap being benched as well. So the Shrines are going to be doing nothing to us. But at the same time, these 1 prize attackers are going to be pretty annoying. If he's playing Devolve, that is where some issues could lie. If he's just playing the Magical Swap, the fact that we have 170 HP and he's not going for big knockouts is going to make it difficult for him to get enough damage on the board to take 6 prizes, I think. Though, that being said, oh, we even hit the Greninja. Okay, this hand is pretty good. I'm going to evolve this Starmie just so we don't get knocked out, and we are going to dupes it up. We do have all 3 dupes. What else is in here? We've got a Froakie prized. Max Potion prized. That's pretty unfortunate for the matchup. An Ultra Ball prized. A Balloon prized. And 2 Water Energy prized. What kind of abilities is this deck going to have? I can't think of many important ones. So we may be able to actually start applying pressure with Moonlight Slash next turn. Things like Lele could be cards that he's playing, cards that we want to stop. But if he's playing Lele down, he could. He's going to be sort of hurting his own Leles, which is only going to benefit us. So you know, it could be fine. Another supporter. All we need to do is find energy this turn, and we can start applying some pressure. We did indeed do that. Unfortunately, it is a splash, which is pretty sad. But we do need to apply this pressure. I'm going to get this other Froakie out. Oh, I guess I didn't need to get the Froakie out. I probably didn't need to do that. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have got the Froakie out. At least this is thinning a card though. Do I think this deck is playing E-Hammers? Because Moonlight Slashing is always going to be a 2-shot anyway. Do I think this deck is playing E-Hammers? He's retreating here anyway, so this 40 damage is kind of inconsequential. This damage is kind of. I'm gonna keep the energy on board. Do I care more about E-Hammer or N? I don't think the deck has space for E-Hammer, but even so. No, maybe it was right to keep the energy on there. I think I should have kept the energy on there because I don't think the deck's playing E-Hammer, and we can snipe this later. Pseudo Wudo. Well, he's given me a chance to get rid of this Froakie, so that's good. So if I'd kept the energy on here, yeah, I could have been able to retreat, which is a shame. Get another Greninja, which is nice. Retreating here is kind of a waste because we have no access to if he can just Guzma us again. So I think we're better off just planting this energy on here. I'm passing it over. I don't think he's gonna have any of the fighting Pokemon he can get out. I could thin these two, cards, and hope that he's gonna N us, but he's not gonna N us because we have a 3-card hand and we're doing nothing. So rather, it makes no sense for him to N us, and if we draw the N, we can do this anyway. So we don't need to do this turn. He could have End us, I suppose, but I wouldn't have expected it. It would have been an incorrect play, I think, on his part, because he knows I'm doing nothing and have a low hand size, and he can just sit here and flying flip. So I'm not going to play around him making the wrong play. Cynthia and Guzma. I think 2 Guzmas would have been good. Him being able to do this to Starmie a lot is good. Though he's just going to flying flip again, so next turn he's going to get a knockout on the Starmie anyway. We need to try and find another Greninja next turn. A supporter would be fantastic. A Sycamore would be the best top deck, I think. He's playing Garb as well. Okay, I'm glad we have this Field Blower. And he's got the Monkey to top things off. So yeah, some Greninjas here would be good. Sycamore off the top would be perfect. Cynthia will do. So we see the Garb. We know that Garb is potentially a threat. It's whether we want to thin these two extra cards. I think it's more important for us to save this Field Blower for when Garb comes out. So let's just find ourselves an energy. We do hit the energy. We do hit a Greninja as well. So we could evolve both Greninjas here. Or we could snipe the bench. If we snipe the bench, we're going to activate his counter catchers. Do we want to activate his counter catchers or his counter stuff? I do not think we do, so I think we get another Greninja. No, I think we get the break, and I think we snipe this. I think we snipe the Lele. I'm going to ditch the N here because he's got a low hand size, so I think I'd rather Cynthia next turn. So if we stitch, he can't play 2 cards in Oranguru. He can't play any Pokemon. He can play Energy. If we stitch now, we have to big Moonlight Slash next turn if we want to knock out. That would take both of his Pokemon off the board. I think it's fine Moonlight Slashing. I'm going to keep the energy on this time. So next turn we snipe, knockout. If we can find ourselves 2 energy off of the Cynthia. That would be the ideal. He's taking 2 prizes here, which means if we take 3 prizes, he'll go back into counter range and he can use his counter cards. But he will have lost 3 DCE and 1 of his Lele. If he doesn't do that, if we can only get 1 snipe, taking down this Lele is fine because that's going to even our prizes again, so he can't use his counter cards. And it's going to be a couple of turns before Koko can start taking knockouts again. He's going to ace a roller. This lets us Shadow Stitch for the knockout next turn, unless he retreats. He's probably going to retreat. Brooklet and found nothing. I'd expect him to retreat here and attack with the fresh one again, meaning that we can't stitch. He didn't even attach an energy. Decided to keep the energy in his hand. So he takes 2 prizes. This means that we can end him. We take 6 cards still, he takes 4. Ah, we even have a counter catcher. End to 4 plus stitch seems pretty good. Do you want to get this Froakie out? I don't think we do. It's just going to be another target for him to knock out. Ah, we hit no water energy. That's really annoying. Do hit a max potion for the bench though, which is big. And I don't think his deck's playing E-Hammer, so I'm happy just attaching this here as well. Ah, I should have waited one more turn. I should have waited one more turn for him to flying flip to get extra damage. Okay. We can get stuff back. We can get another break back. We're ending next turn again, probably. It's more important for us to hit water energy off the top deck, so I think I want to stretch her next turn, if we're going to stretch her. He has no abilities, like he can't play things like Lele and stuff, but if he can play his hand down, he can't instruct now, which is what I want to avoid. I've ended into 4, I want to try and stop him instructing himself into answers. Hits the Guzma. There's an energy. What's the most important threat on this board? I still think it's the Lele. Mind you, this Lele is doing nothing whilst we're at even prizes. So I think we go here. I think I want to shuffle the break and the Starmie line back in. Ending here gives him one more card. He didn't attach energy last turn. We can't really do anything else this turn other than evolve into breaks. And we don't need to evolve into breaks this turn because we've already retreated. We've already got the maximum amount of stitching of snipes we can do. So we should just stitching for knockout here, I think. We get one less card from this N. But okay, we hit an energy. But I think it's more important for us to not give him an extra card. That's a trash launch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 items. He did have a pretty good hand, it turns out. Finds himself a psychic energy, so he can retreat for knockout here. If he retreats for knockout, we get all this stuff back and we can snipe this. He gets the DCE, so he may go for the flying flip again here. Gets the shrine. Does play E-hammers, okay. So we want to be attacking with this one, so we should send up this one in case we get the in case we're able to find double break. Find ourselves a Starmie here. No break again is pretty bad. So now we have to hit with this Greninja, just because this is the healthier one. Gonna get ourselves a Froakie down, just because hopefully this is gonna come back into our hand next turn. Stitching is doing nothing, so it's whether we want the extra 20 damage from Moonlight Slash. I think we do, because we want to be able to snipe this plus hit something else. So I think we Moonlight Slash and retain the energy, of course, because we want to keep the... We want to get the Greninja stuff back into our hand. So next turn we're hoping to top deck a break, or find a break off of this N. Plays down a counter energy, has a Cynthia. This guy's had some pretty good Enter 3s. He's already attached this turn, so we can't read as to whether he has an energy or not. Get the Frogadier and the Greninja back. Oh, we hit one of our balloons finally. Balloon isn't too consequential. But it's getting played anyway because we want to be able to apply pressure. Enter 2. Hopefully we can find ourselves a break or an evolution card. And we don't, which means we're going to have to Moonlight Slash and hope he doesn't get a grass. A Psychic, sorry. That sucks. I really want to stitch him here, but I can't. So we're just going to have to do this. On the plus side, next turn we have a pretty strong turn. If he flips here, takes 60 himself. If he doesn't flip and he attacks with this, we can Moonlight Slash it. Plays Copycat. This guy's drawn a supporter every time. Damn. It's the E-hammer as well. Nice. Is that all 4 splashes gone? It is all 4 splashes gone. Does he want flying flip? Getting back more guard pieces. So our prizes are coming from here, 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 and here, I guess. We're never going below prizes for him, so this should never actually be active. He chooses to pass. Sycamoring here. We'll be left with 5 cards in deck, but we need to find this break. We're always knocking out his Tapu Koko. I don't think we're Shadow Stitching ever. I think we're Moonlight Slashing. So just in case we do go below on prizes, we should do this. Attach for turn. Hold the Starmie until after this so we can see if we can find the break. We could, like, Cynthia's one less card and we're shuffling one in, but I think we almost certainly, this game is almost certainly over by the time we'll have 5 cards left in deck, and I think this game is going to be over within 5 turns. Unless we don't hit the break, which is sad. So now we're going to Super Rod back in. And then we can Ultra Ball, discarding these 2 to get the break. So we still get 2 energy back off of Space Beacon. We're never going to get another Greninja out. We don't have time. But I put in another break there to try and guarantee that we'll try and increase the chance of us top decking it. Space Beacon away this Field Blur, it's pretty useless now. Oh, we can't evolve this one. Okay, so we've got to evolve the active. That's fine though, splitting up our resources. I want to snipe this because this is the only thing that can take a knockout next turn. So if he takes a knockout, he's also getting knocked out in return. So if he knocks out, we go down to 2 prizes. We then find another. If we can find another break, we win next turn. If he attacks us, if he doesn't attack us, he's considering attacking us. Oh, we can't win next turn because this is dead, of course. However, at the same time, he'll no longer have any attacking threats unless he gets a Trubbish down this turn. If he gets a Trubbish down this turn, that could be pretty awkward. This game is a puzzle. Okay, we see the concede. I'm not sure. Like, I definitely played some of those turns wrong, but I think you saw the power of Greninja being able to get back into the game there. Okay. We'll get one more. Greninja games are always pretty long, so... Okay. Fairy, fighting, dark and psychic. Zoroark with a Sylveon would be my first assumption. Four whole mulligans. Hopefully we draw an unplayable card off the top so we can Ultra Ball N in the unplayable card. Zoro Bayonet. It's a pretty simple turn. A Greninja and a Break prized, an E-Hammer prized. Blower prized. Two Splash prized. Zoro plays E-Hammers, so we're holding this Splash for now. If he ends us, we're kind of sad, but also kind of fine, as long as we find the answers to return to Water Dupes. Had all three of these pre-mulligans as well, so he probably doesn't even need to find Bridget here. A Buzzwole GX, hello. That's not at all what I expected. Floatstone, Rainbow Energy, Parallel. Turns out us drawing these two Frogadiers is slightly better. That Rainbow is so important. Just that extra 10 damage is really, really big for us. I'm going to bounce this immediately because we want to get Staryu out. Nearly end. Don't want to end here. Of course. Could have potentially held off bouncing that in case he has a second parallel, because then we just have to ditch the Staryu. But do I want to play around second parallel in Zoro? That's playing two Buzzwole GXs and now a Beast Energy. Holy. Mallow here probably sees him getting parallel plus Zoroark. Just goes for a draw supporter though. Beast Energy as well, it's crazy. Oh. Zoro Bayonet Buzzwole with Beast Energy. Interesting. Did get the second parallel as well. It's a pretty good hand. Pretty good hand. What do we want to be attacking with here? This starts to Knuckle Impact anyway, so like a fresh one without Knuckle Impact or this, so we should attack with this one. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So he didn't hit second Greninja, which is sad. We could have rescue stretchered just to grab this. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, okay. Okay. Rescue stretcher, we're going to shuffle all three in. We can Brooklet this out, and we have access to that fourth frog as well. Okay, if we draw into that with Sycamore next turn. I'm going to Stitching him, and hope that he doesn't have another Rainbow Energy, I guess. If he has another Rainbow Energy though, we're in a pretty sad spot. What is this deck? Has the DCU. So he could pay retreat here to get the knockout. Oh, he's got a Guzma. He's going to go for the Staryu again. If he's killing Staryu, he's not killing Greninja. That's I guess fine by me. Well, not I guess, it is fine by me. Staryu's important, but so are Greninjas. Counter capture. What do we want to be attacking this turn? We can never knock this out, so we want to hit an E-hammer if we want to attack this. Do we want to attack this though? Or do we want to try and lock something active? I want to try and lock this active, I think. This thing is heavy. He's played 2 of the energy cards that he can use to attack with it. We're Stitching him, so he hopefully won't have his second float. Okay, we don't need to get this Froakie out. I want a break here. Didn't get a break, nor did we get an energy. Okay. We can search for a break. We need to keep our ends around. I think we search for a regular Greninja here. We need to keep our ends around, so we can't Sycamore these 2 ends away, I don't think. So I think we can ditch Sycamore. And we can ditch a balloon. Because it's unlikely he's attacking us this turn, so I don't think I want to attach this balloon here. If he's attacking us, he probably has Guzma anyway. So his Guzma target is probably this. No, it could be this. We could attach it just to try and put him off Guzmaing us. Yeah, let's do that. And let's Stitch again. Like, it's unlikely for him to have Guzma, but if he has Guzma, he's going to take out a Greninja here, and I don't want that. So if he does take out the Greninja, I want to try and set up something, some damage. Does have Guzma. Does go for the frog instead, though. He had the 3rd energy anyway. What a meme. So we want to be attacking with this one this turn, so we promote this one first in case we can double stitch, double snipe. We really want to find an E-hammer here. If I heal this and then attach there, we're less likely to find the pieces we need to snipe. But if I don't do that, I lose to him just retreating and knocking me out if I don't find the Greninja. I think I want to heal. What? 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 It definitely... Why didn't it let me pick this one? What? I don't understand why it didn't... Okay, well I wanted to heal this one. Huh. Well that changes my turn. Why didn't it let me pick this one? This is definitely damaged. Okay, well it looks like we're... It's now better to attack with this one. That's really annoying because this one is definitely damaged, I don't understand. We don't want to get another Froakie out. We have one out and he's just targeting them down anyway. He can knock them out pretty quickly. We did get this. We can technically heal this one now, but now we're not attacking with it. Is it worth? Probably not. So stitching here. So he's going to be 90. You can just put the damage on the active. If we just put the damage on the active, he dies to a stitch next turn, so we don't need to find a break. If he decides to knuckle impact, it's whether we think he's going to knuckle impact or not. Do we respect the knuckle impact? I don't think we do. So I think we snipe this one. Because we can snipe this next turn, hopefully. Maybe not. I don't respect the knuckle impact here. He's used 3 of his energy that he wants to be that he can use only for knuckle impact. Is this going to be a double puzzle or a single puzzle? Double puzzle of event 3 would annoy me. Okay. Single puzzling. An N off the top would be fantastic here. Right, is it gonna... Okay, I want to heal this one. Why didn't it let me do that last time? I don't understand at all. Strange. Gonna get rid of this field blower as well. I could have done that last time, but I didn't want to just in case he had other options. We can get another breakout and we can double snipe the breaks here with the breaks here. Do I want to? I don't think I do. I just want to snipe once, I think. Snipe the active. We're going to shadow stitching here. I'm also going to attach, like this is the same, this is quite similar to sniping because he's either going to attack with this or this. So this is quite similar to using a second break. Another Greninja is good for us to start cycling between 3. If he attacks with this, we can stitching with this as well to knock this out. Benches a Lele. But I stitching him. Why did he bench the Lele? Just for damage? Definitely wasn't worth the damage. And he attacked into the balloon. So now we can stitching this for knockout. And we can... I really have no idea why he attacked that Lele there. Bench that Lele there. So stitching, I want to... I think I'm just going to discard the N and the Cynthia. Get ourselves another break. All three of our Evosodas still in there. I'm also going to shuffle in this Staryu and 2 energy in case we can't get this Staryu back online. So where are our last 2 prizes coming from? I think they're coming from exactly here. Let's attach this. Let's shuriken this. Let's Cynthia. I have no idea why I benched this Lele. I'm trying to think about why I could have benched this Lele. It's distracting me. Stitch for knockout. Another E-Hammer's good for if he does find his energy. And he does indeed concede. I really don't know why. He must have just missed that stitching, I guess. I have no idea why you'd bench the Lele in that situation. But hey, either way, they were 2 pretty long games, so I'm not going to grab another just because the video's over an hour already. But I'll probably be playing this on some streams in the near future. So if they've been and gone, go back and check them out on the YouTube channel. If not, you may see me streaming it sometime soon. That's not the one I want. I want to go to Deck Manager. But yeah, it's the last Greninja profile we'll ever do, so I wanted to at least do it one more time. It seems to be able to take on Zoroark variants. And Zoro seems to be pretty much the deck to beat right now, in its many forms. So why not have one last ride with Frog Boys, annoy some people, and maybe it'll even win Worlds this time. It won't fall short to a Mega Raudino, you never know. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from OmniPoke, looking forward to see you guys in another video, and cheers for tuning in.